But I can't help but share that we were awarded in the beginning of this year the #1 FLP reseller by CIMA, something that we are really proud of. Now, before I tell you a single thing about CIMA or FLP, I want you to picture two people, same ambition, same drive. Both want to become CGMA qualified. One of them boards a bus and the other boards a plane. They're heading to exactly the same destination, but they're going to have very different journeys. The story is what the next 45 minutes is all about. So let's get going. Here's our flight plan. We'll confirm the destination, that is getting your CGMA, and why it matters. Then I'm going to walk you through the traditional route, which is also known as PQ, the bus. It might take longer, but it's a very enriching way of completing your studies. Then on to FLP, the plane, what it is and how it works. We'll compare them side by side in terms of the time it takes, the cost, flexibility, and then I'll help you figure out which one is the right route for you. Can I respectfully ask everyone not to post in the chat until the end of the presentation? We will open the floor for questions. I'll be on as long as you want to answer all your questions. Just bear in mind it's very distracting when people on the webinar are trying to concentrate on the presentation and comments keep flying. Now, I've got something very special to share with you at the end of the presentation. Did you know you can become dual qualified with CIMA? But I'll share that with you a little bit later. Now, before we compare routes, let's agree on the destination and why it's worth the journey. CGMA, which is a Chartered Global Management Accountant, is recognized in over 150 countries. Employers actively look for it. Boards respect it. It's ranked one of the most valued financial qualification globally. And on average, professionals who achieve it see a salary uplift of over 200,000 Rand. That is the destination, and both routes, the bus and the plane, deliver you there. FLP is not a different qualification. It is not a light version. Both routes lead to exactly the same designation, recognized identically by every employer in the world. The only question is how long the journey takes. Let's have a look at the CIMA framework. It helps to understand the framework before you decide on your route. The CIMA syllabus has 5 stages. It starts with the certificate level on the bottom. Then with the certificate level, no prior knowledge is needed. That is where complete beginners enter. Then come 3 core levels, the operational, management, and strategic. Each has 4 exams, 3 OTs, and 1 case study. The enterprise pillar, or the E pillar, covers strategy, governance, and how businesses operate. The middle section is a performance pillar. That is the heart of CIMA, and that covers management accounting and financial decision making. Lastly, the last pillar, the F pillar, is a financial pillar which covers risk management and financial reporting. There is a case study at each level, starting from the operational level, and the final case study is the strategic case study, a single integrative exam that pulls everything together in a real business scenario. Pass that and you finish the academic part of the qualification. You then have to show you have a minimum of 3 years experience in finance or accounting, and you will then be awarded your CGMA. So if you are wondering which level you will start at, let me share with you 3 ways you can get exemptions. Number 1 is a membership, for example, CIMA. Number 2 is academic qualifications. And number 3 is exemptions through experience. Starting off with membership. If you are a member of CIPA, you will start on the management level of CIMA. If you are CICA qualified, you just have to complete the strategic case study. On to the educational qualifications that award you exemptions. It gets a bit tricky, but luckily IBTC is experts at this. So if you have a financial qualification at a reputable institution, you are likely to start on the management level. What do I mean a financial qualification? It is a BCom accounting, BCom finance, or BCom accounting science. These are examples. You have to have the name in your certificate. If you have a plain BCom, ICB, or if your qualification is older than 7 years, you will start on the operational level, even if you have financial subjects in your plain BCom. CIMA is very strict about this. If you have a postgraduate in diploma in finance, accounting science, you will likely start on the management level. But a diploma or a certificate will only let you start on the operational level. Some universities are regarded with higher esteem than others, so please don't kill the messenger. The good news is that IBTC has a direct contact with the exemption team and we can help you. You are welcome to email info@ibtc.co.za with your certificate and transcripts, and we can let you know in a matter of hours what your starting level would be. Thirdly, the way of getting exemptions is through an elite pathway based on your experience. You can think of this as a toll gate starting at about 60,000 Rand. CIMA respects experience, and depending on the number of years experience you have and at what level, you may be eligible to only have to write 2 or more case studies. Again, IBTC can help you with this process. Now back to PQ versus FLP. Remember, the same destination, you just choose the route. Starting off with the bus route or PQ. Imagine boarding a bus. It has stops. You board at certificate, or at operational, or at management, or at strategic. And at each stop, everyone gets off and waits before the next leg begins. You cannot skip stops. That's PQ. It's a very enriching way of completing your studies as it's more rigorous than FLP. But you write the same case study whether it's FLP or traditional. It just takes longer. For most working professionals, it takes about a year level. There is absolutely nothing wrong with the bus. Millions of finance professionals have qualified this way. It's rigorous, it's thorough, and it gets you to the destination. We have various study options for you, ranging from virtual classes, which are live Zoom classes, to home study, where you study at your own pace. Our virtual classes, semester 2, starts the 3rd week of July, so it's a perfect time to start your studies now if you feel the PQ route is the best for you. A major advantage of electing the PQ route is not only having the enrichment and rigor, but you can pay as you go. IBTC has a payment plan interest fee, but I will get to that later. Now on to FLP. I want to stress that FLP is not easier, it's just a faster route of completing CIMA. The reason it's faster is you have less exams to do. On the PQ, you have to write an exam, for instance, E1, P1, and F1, or E2, P2, and F2, but with FLP, you just do an online competency. So the only exams you have to do is the case study. So therefore, you can complete 2 levels in 1 year or 3 levels in 2 years. And if you're starting right at the beginning of CIMA, you can complete the whole of CIMA in 3 years. Let's have a look at what's included in a 1 year, 2 year, or 3 year subscription. If you are starting on the management level, we recommend you take a 1 year subscription where you can complete 2 levels in 1 year. And what's included, you will get 2 exam tokens for management and 2 for strategic. So you basically get a rewrite for each. If you are starting on the foundation or the operational level, you will get 2 exam tokens for operational, 2 for management, and 2 for strategic. Plus, you will get case study classes with IBTC to help you prepare for the case study classes at any level. And twice, if you have to have a rewrite, that is all included. Now, I want to talk about an important addition we recently added for FLP if you are starting on the foundation or the operational level. International research has shown that the operational level of CIMA is highly technical and has the lowest pass rate. So we've included competency classes for the operational level only. These classes give you the best chance of passing your operational case study. The extra additional is called FLP Skill Up. Now, does anyone want to see the FLP portal? If you do, can you raise your hand or just give me a high five or anything, or a yes if you would like to see the FLP. Okay, I see lots of hands coming up. So I'm going to, oh, look at all the hands. Okay, so everyone wants to see the FLP portal. So just give me a moment to pull it up. Again, can I ask if my colleague can shout out if you can see my screen? And you should see the FLP portal.
Yes, we can see it, Vanessa.
Excellent. So this is the FLP portal. You can spit out how many topics you want to do, and it'll tell you when you are going to finish. So when you join FLP, you get access to all the levels. In this is a dummy site, and it assumes I am on the management level, and that's why there's a star there. But if you're starting on operational, there'll be a star there, and foundational there, and obviously strategic. These blue blocks is E2, the E pillar. The brown blocks is the P pillar, management accounting. And the teal green is F2, the financial reporting, right? So remember I said to you that with FLP, you don't have to do exams, you just have to do an online competency. Now I'm going to demonstrate project management. This competency is part of E2. It's a quick and easy one, but I just want to show you so you can see how it works. With FLP, there's no textbooks. All the learning is online. You can see here as a print preview. You can save it as a PDF and then print it. A lot of students prefer something to write with, so you can print the notes. So the way FLP works is you first got to go into learning. And you're learning and learning and learning and studying and studying. And CIMA will ask you for learning questions, right? To check that you understand the learning. So they call it a knowledge check. And this is all about a Gantt chart. And the question is, based on the Gantt chart that follows, select all the correct statements. So say now you think that's the answer and that's the answer, and you submit, and it says correct, gives you feedback why it's correct. Sometimes you watch a quick video and you carry on. Here's another knowledge check all around the CPA diagram, asking when will the project be completed. So now you think it's week 8 and you submit your answer and it tells you it's incorrect, tells you why it's incorrect. You can go back, read properly, come back and say, oh, I see it's week 10, submit, and then it's correct. Then you're carrying on, and just bear in mind, this is a quick and easy one. And you're carrying on, learning. There's another knowledge check coming up. Let's say you think the answer is that, you submit, correct, and eventually you are going to get to the end of the learning. Once you get to the end of the learning, you have to do a competency test, right? This test is not timed and you can do it over and over until you get it right. In this particular competency test, there are 3 questions. You need to get all 3 right. Some competency tests might have 20 questions, and then you need to get about 17 or 18 correct. So this one only has 3. So let's say on the first question, I think that's the answer, I submit, and it says correct. The next one, let's say I think that's the answer, I submit, and it's correct. And the third one, I think that's the answer, and I submit, and it's incorrect. Now, in a competency test, you can't retake the question. So CIMA will say to me, sorry for you, do it again. Once you get it correct, your circle gets a tick in, and once you get all the circles completed in a particular competency, you get one big tick like that. So when you get access to your FLP, you're going to start on your first E2 competency and work your way to the final F2 competency. Once you've completed all these competencies, you are then going to join us for case study classes. We'll teach you how to do a case study class. We just give you some strong advice is when you walk into the case study class, make sure you know all these competencies backwards. If you know these competencies really well, you'll be fine in the case study class. So let's say you write your management case study on the 10th of August. It takes 6 weeks for the results to come out, right? You don't wait. The very next day, you go on to the strategic level and you start doing your E3 competencies. So the same if you're on operational, you finish your competencies, you write your exam on the 5th of August. Very next day, you go on to the management level and you start doing your competencies. Okay, so that's how the portal works. There's some great tools on here as well. You under exam review, there are mock exams that you can do. There's the pre-scene that you get for the case studies. When you join IBTC for case study classes, our expert lecturers will give you 2 mock exams. They will mark it and they will give you in-depth feedback of where you need to improve. So you have also further mock exams which CIMA marks, but they don't give you as detailed feedback as IBTC does. But it's a wonderful system to use. So that is the FLP dashboard. I can always come back to it later if anyone wants to see it again. I'm just going to now carry on with the presentation. So if you just give me a sec, I will do that. Again, if my colleague can just shout out when you can see the screen.
Yeah, we can see it, Vanessa.
Is it the skill up one you can see?
That's correct.
Okay, thank you. All right, so we've looked at the portal now. Now we're going to look at cost. So on the screen, you can actually see we're talking 1 year first. We are comparing it to the PQ costs. Now, I can tell you that FLP long-term is more affordable than PQ, but you have to pay upfront for FLP. So let's see how this works out. So for a 1 year FLP, the upfront cost is 77,500 Rand, but that's the total cost for both levels, including the exam fees, the registration fees, the case study classes with us. For the PQ, you can see it's substantially more, and this assumes you pass all 8 exams first time. Remember, you have to pay for everything individually, whereas FLP, everything is included. Now, what's very important is when you want to start. You want to start to maximize your case study opportunities. Case study exams are written in February, May, August, and November. So you want to start the month directly after an exam month, so you have 4 opportunities to write your case study. So the next ideal start date is the first week of September. So if you start in the first week of September, you can attempt your management case study in November. Worst case scenario, you fail, you rewrite it in February. Then you write your strategic in May, and worst case scenario, you fail, you rewrite it in August next year, and you're still within your 1-year FLP. On to the 2-year FLP, notice that the cost doesn't double. So compared to the traditional route, it is also a lot more affordable. Now, the same thing applies for ideal start dates. You want to maximize the amount of times that you can write your case study. So we also recommend, if you're taking a 2 or 3-year, start in the first week of September, or the next ideal start date, which will be in the first week of December. Now, the payment plans we have available for both. For the traditional PQ, we have a payment plan for tuition only with IBTC, where there's a 40% deposit and the balance gets paid over 3 months via debit order. For FLP, we have partnered with Student Hero. Student Hero is like the HIP of insurance. They go to all the banks on your behalf, and based on your credit score, you may be eligible for a competitive loan rate. Now, I told you earlier that I wanted to share some exciting news with you. You can now become dual qualified with CIMA and CICA. Once you have completed CIMA, and provided you have a recognized undergraduate degree, you can apply to CICA and go straight to the APC exam. That is the final exam in CICA, pass, and then you become dual qualified. Isn't that fantastic? I'm going to, before I open the floor for questions, I'm going to end off with frequently asked questions, and then please feel free to unmute yourself, or you can post questions in the chat. So what is the pass rate of PQ and FLP at IBTC? Very good question. They are almost identical. They hover around 62% with a 1% difference either way. Can I move from FLP to PQ or PQ to FLP? Absolutely. You move like for like. So whatever you've passed on either one is yours forever. What if I don't finish writing the exam within a subscription period? You can either take out another subscription, or you can move to the traditional route. Just remember, whatever you have passed or completed competencies in a level is yours forever. Can I buy more exam tokens in a subscription? Yes, as long as you're still within your subscription, you can buy more exam tokens. Lastly, if you would like to start first week September, we kindly need full payment by the end of July. The reason for this is we have to submit our orders to CIMA 2 months ahead of time. Now, for those of you who would like a quote, or you need assistance with the starting level, or you need help with Student Hero, you can email us at info@ibtc.co.za, and our sales advisors